Okay. Hey! We got the power. Lamont, do you feel electricity running through you?
Absolutely. I'm sure people are waking up hearing this song. I love having some theme music.
Yes. Lake, how are you today, young lady?
Cool.
You cool?
Yeah.
Yeah, you are. Lake is she's the executive director of PwC. This is your daughter, Lake.
Yes, sir.
And I'm putting her up on screen here because Lake is just spinning around and having a good time. How are you this morning, young lady?
Good.
Are you supposed to be in school?
No.
Why not?
I have summer break.
There you go. There you go. School is out. That's okay. Well, look, we appreciate you bringing your youngin in here. And I always put the youngins on camera as long as I get parental permission.
Yes, sir.
And you're doing your thing. Lamont HINSON is the liaison and spokesperson for the Fayetteville Public Works Commission, and it is a pleasure to have you here today to talk about ways people can stay safe. We're moving into summer. What's on your agenda today to let folks know something?
We have so many different things going on. June 1st marks the beginning of hurricane season here in North Carolina, so we want to remind our customers and the community at large, but especially our customers, that they can go to our online electric outage map to get updates on their safe, reliable, affordable electric service. If something should happen and they lose service, just know that they can stay informed by going to that website, and you'll get near real-time updates on outage locations, affected areas, and estimated restoration times. The map updates every 10 minutes. So instead of having to call in or feel the need to call in and report an outage that may be happening in your area, you can go to the outage map and get updates.
You know, on some occasions, does the PwC call you and say, we know you got an outage in your area, like a robocall or something like that? I know cable does that on occasion.
No, well, I mean, to be honest, giving some kudos to the fellas over in electric operations, they tend to get the outage back and restored so quickly that it's really no need for us to make a call or anything like that, especially during storm season. But as we've talked about this a few times, the most common cause of outages is usually animal interference. So we be making calls all day to tell people about a squirrel or something being on the line. So they just, I think, go towards getting it restored rather than making a phone call.
Yeah. Now, is the system a redundant system where it has a backup that kicks in pretty quickly, or stuff is rechanneled? How's that work?
Yeah, there tends to be a backup to the backup to the backup. So we specialize in redundancy to make sure that there's something to support if one of the lines should go out. And for people who don't know this, you have a service that is typically overhead. Those are the ones that you see on the power lines, but there's also underground service that's available as well.
Now, I live in a community that has them underground, but you can still be susceptible to power outages because down the block where the wires are up that leads to the underground, there was a car accident that took out that transformer, and so you're just not home free just because you don't have wires over top of you.
Absolutely. You're a specialist at this. I'm fearful that you can do my job. I know you wear so many different hats in the community, so I gotta stay on my toes when it comes to you.
Well, look, we want you on your toes. Is your daddy a good daddy?
Yeah.
Huh? Say it again.
Yes.
Yeah, he didn't have your microphone on. Look, and you give it a big thumbs up. I'm putting you. This is it has under Lamont HINSON underneath you, but you're Lamont HINSON's daughter, who just happens to be named Lake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
She's got my same initials. I'm Lamont Malcolm HINSON. She's Lake Marie HINSON.
Well, it's good to have you here. Keep your daddy straight. If you hear him say something that you don't think is true, say, "Hold it, Uncle Gil. That can't be true." Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Let me see. Say it. Uncle Gil, hold up. Say it.
Uncle Gil, hold up.
Okay, all right. Stand by, okay? All right, I'm going to bring you up here. Now, Lamont, you have the right to remain silent.
Okay.
Let's talk about some other things in here. You guys have volunteer cleanup with the Glenville Lake thing. What's that going on?
So a couple of our employees, along with some of our community partners and agencies, came together to just make sure that there was no trash in the Glenville shoreline area. They did a cleanup about 2 weeks ago, well, around Earth Day. That's a better frame of reference, and it's just to make sure that there's nothing along that lines of the Cape Fear River, Glenville Lake. Want to keep that source of water as clean as possible. So a couple of volunteers got together, picked up trash for the day. I believe they collected about 65 bags of trash, so that lets you know that it was needed. And believe it or not, even people just walk by it all the time, and it's an eyesore, and I think they just get used to seeing it, unfortunately. So we wanted to do something about it versus just letting it stay there.
Well, you make a good point because a lot of these riverbanks, I remember that we underneath the bridges, we've had people who live there, and there's the debris that was along the banks are just unbelievable. We had to contract people to come in to actually clean those areas out. You say 65 bags, we're talking about truckloads of debris that was taken away from the Cape Fear River banks of the Cape Fear River.
They used to have messages when I was younger about stopping pollution, don't litter, things of that nature. I think it's becoming a little more mute, or folks are focusing towards more priority messages. But littering is still one of the things that we want to reduce in our community. Wait till you can get to a trash receptor, or just keep it in your car. But tossing it out the window is not the thing to do, because it eventually ends up in areas like the Glenville or the Glenville Lake shoreline area, and that can prohibit things for wildlife as well as just increases pollution.
For those who aren't familiar with the area, where exactly is the Glenville Lake?
It is near, like right across from Fayetteville State. If you're looking at, we have a Glenville Lake water treatment area. So you're looking at Filter Plant Road, or
Filter Plant Drive.
Filter Plant Drive,
But
off of Bragg Boulevard.
now, is that the reservoir that's been banked up? I mean, I've been here a long time,
Yes, sir.
and I remember we had a flood one time where that overspilled, and the water came down from that along Murchison Road,
Yes.
and there was a senior center or home there, a nursing home there,
Yes.
that got flooded. Were you here when that happened?
I was, but I was a youngster, so it's not as fine in my memory. But yes, I was.
Well, it was clear. What was clear to me was that when we got down there to do the story on television, they had taken the seniors out and taken them across the street. And I remember seeing seniors hugging tombstones at the cemetery that was across the street while the water went down underneath the Martin Luther King Expressway.
Yes, sir.
It must have been at least 6 to 8 feet deep. Where I remember being on top of the MLK, looking down at Murchison Road, and I saw an ambulance with the lights flashing, covered with water. You just saw the lights. That's how bad that flooding was at that time.
I'm glad you just mentioned that in terms of reporting that story, because that's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring my daughter Lake here. She's always talking about wanting to be a news reporter, and I definitely wanted her to just, meet you and interact. It's one of those things where you see NBA players down the line. It's like that picture of Michael Jordan with the young LeBron James and things of that nature. If she does actually pursue that goal and one day grow up, I can remember this moment.
That's right. Remember, Lake, if you can see it, you can be it. And I was your age when I was sitting in church. I divert just a little second here. Emmanuel Baptist Institute, 22nd and Montgomery, and I was sitting beside the guy who was broadcasting the church service, just like you're sitting beside me right now. And you're going to tell this story one day when you're 24 years old and working for WREL. And you said, I remember the time I was sitting beside Gibbet Baines, and he said that I could take his job. And I knew I could do this guy's job, okay? So you going to take my job?
Sure.
I love the confidence.
Before you kick me out, I want to remind
No, you got 5 minutes.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Before time runs out, I want to remind the listeners that we have 2 events. One that's already ongoing. It is at the Arts Council at 301 Hay Street. The Arts Council of Fayetteville, Cumberland County is now hosting the Public Works Art Exhibit. Opening night was May 29th, so this past Friday. The exhibit is going to run all the way until July 5th, so the day after 4th of July. It's an opportunity. It's totally free to anyone that wants to check it out. It's an exhibit that showcases local artists in the Cumberland County area as well as surrounding areas. They have 127 pieces on the exhibit. Opening night, some of the artists came out, took photos next to their artwork. Very interesting pieces out there. So anyone who is into the arts or just wants to do something different, get out into the community, that's an opportunity to do so.
Well, and I had that story here because I was going to make sure we talked about that. And we do it as a story just also in our newscast as well to remind folks that it's going to be there until July 5th. But it's neat for the art community to have the local folks come out who normally don't get much recognition. You're partnering with the Arts Council to make this happen. So it's a big community event. And the point I'm trying to make is, people complain about their electric bills and all those things, but when you have a business that is community oriented, you have to give back to the community, and you guys do that on a number of different ways.
Yes, our 21st year of partnering with the Arts Council and sponsoring that event. So if you get an opportunity, please check it out. And then on June 26th, so the last Friday in June, we will be hosting another PWC Expo. We hosted one in March at the North Regional Public Library. This next one's going to be at the Bordeaux Public Library. So it's going to be held from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Again, it is completely free. The first PWC Expo in March focused on water service. This next one coming up in June is going to focus on that safe, reliable, and affordable electric service. So it's an opportunity for you to come out, ask questions of our staff, see a demonstration of what linemen have to do in order to get power restored, all the different equipment they have to put on. And we're going to be giving out those famous free LED light bulbs. People love to come, get one, get two, try to get 10. So we got to try to reduce it if we can, so it's while supplies last. But it's also an opportunity for you just to learn more about our customer service area and how you can get the best of the customer experience.
All right, before I get you out of here now, we do want to talk about the warm weather and the transition now about watering and how you can save. Look, I'm just watering, okay? I'm just paying my bill, and it's big. But there are things people can do to conserve water and also make sure their bill isn't that harmful. What can they do?
So we have a reminder of a year-round. It's not just when it's a drought situation going on, but we do it year-round to avoid hopefully having drought conditions. Year-round watering schedule. So if you have an address that ends in an odd number, there are particular days that you will water on. If you have one that has an even number, there are particular days that you have to water. I believe Friday is the one day that is completely free. Don't water just because you feel like it's your day. Do it if it's necessary. And it's something that reminds people, let me make sure I am being efficient and smart with my watering service. Last time we had a conversation, I brought up my neighbor. When I go out jogging, they have some of their irrigation that's hitting the street, and you gave me that tip of, well, you should be saying something. I took that advice. I actually did make the time to catch them outside and just told them that they could make the adjustment of their irrigation service and wouldn't be having some of the water hit the concrete early in the morning, and they actually appreciated the tip. It didn't result in something going left.
Well, and we're going to get out of here, but before we do, you make a good point because if you see the water on the street, then that's water that could be going on your yard as opposed to somewhere else. You have some other tips here. Too much watering, you don't want to do that.
Right.
Different times of the day.
There you go.
You want to make the points here? Because here they are right there. You see them right there? You know them off the top of your head.
I got them
Okay.
as well. So you want to make sure that you're watering either in the early part of the morning or towards the evening. You don't want to do it in the top part of the day whenever the sun is out because it's just going to just soak up the water. Always remember to adjust your sprinklers so it's watering only your landscaping, and turn off the sprinklers if it is raining. Mother Nature is doing the job for you. Always know that you can get these tips and more tips from our website, faypwc.com. And I also want to remind customers, don't wait till there's an issue. If you have a question or inquiry, contact our customer service line at 910-483-1382. We're there for you.
All right. And as far as those sprinkler systems are concerned, there is a thing that you can put out that when it knows it's raining, it automatically does not let your system come on.
There you go.
So anyway, all right, look, the most important thing to do is bring your daughter up on screen by herself and say, goodbye, Uncle Gil.
Goodbye, Uncle Gil.
All right. You're listening to News Talk 640 WFNC. We've got Fayetteville's most dependable forecast with CBS 17 meteorologist Rachel Dunsey.
Today we'll have clearing skies, eventually turning mostly sunny with a high of 70.
Thank you, sir.
There we are. Let me take a picture. Put y'all sitting here.
54, and Wednesday will be mostly sunny with a high of 84. Today and tomorrow, going to be
your
seasonal
debut.
and pleasant, and while we're going to stay rain-free, temperatures will eventually warm very quickly into the middle 90s by the end of the week. That's your Fayetteville forecast. I'm CBS 17 meteorologist Rachel Dunze.
Okay, Rachel, right now the temperature is up to 66 degrees in Fayetteville, Hope Mills, and also Fort Bragg. You're listening to News Talk 640 with WFNC.
Looking for something inspiring to do? The Arts Council of Fayetteville, Cumberland County invites you to the PWC.
Sit by you, sit down in your seat. Don't move, okay?
Celebrating the amazing
All right,
talent
everybody
right
ready?
here in our community.
Hold on to what you
Join
got.
us at 301 Hay Street and experience artwork from creators of all ages. Presented by the City of Fayetteville, Cumberland County, NC Arts Council, and Fayetteville PWC. Come see creativity come to life right here.
Is that
at
cool?
home.
I'll show you something cooler than that.
Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle from Blindster. Thousands of homeowners have trusted us for their blinds that are easy to order. Uncle Gilbert, you got hair!
We had raccoons falling through the ceiling here. See that?
For your windows. Blindster.com.
Oh wow.
For real. And
How
so
did I get them out of here?
Local news source.
we didn't.
News Talk 640
Well, Kenny, I bought these hats, and we went into the sales meeting, and we said, we don't have a raccoon problem anymore. We took care of it. They fell out loud. Now, they live in the ceiling, and they got traps up there. It's not the first time that they've fallen through. And I passed out. You know I passed out live on the air?
I'm Charles
Oh,
Evans,
you didn't hear
your
it?
Democratic candidate for county commissioner at large.
I was in here a couple Wednesdays ago. Monday I smelled something. Tuesday it got stronger. Wednesday was overwhelming. Smelled like ammonia. Well, raccoons are like cats. They use a litter box. And so the ones that are living up in the ceiling decided to use my area up here as the litter box. And so all the raccoons were coming and pee-peeing up here and going to the bathroom up here. And it started smelling to the extent that I was getting ready to give the weather and I passed out, overwhelmed. They had to drag me out.
Oh, you're not exaggerating. This is
No,
serious. Okay.
yeah. Hazmat came. When I woke up, I had EKG. They thought I had a heart attack and wasn't sure what was going on. And so we called wildlife. I said, there's something dead up in the ceiling or something. And the wildlife guy came in. As soon as he walked in, he said, that's not anything dead. That's raccoon pee.
Wow.
Worse than the HINSON virus.
Yeah.